Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you, I guess, more of a tutorial here on Scrap Station. Here I am spawning as the yellow Protoss player against Wrocek. Now, I did tell some people that I would be randomly playing with a random Raptor member if they were ever on my friends list, and I all of a sudden got about like 100 friend requests on Raptor. So yeah, special thanks to them. And Wrocek just happened to be on. I asked him if he wanted to play some games with me, and he decided that he would. So this is game 3 in our set. I tried one game as Protoss, one game as Zerg, and one game as Terran. And I thought it would be interesting if I casted the Protoss game and the Zerg game. Terran versus Protoss. I believe you guys have seen so many of those games right now that you really don't want to see any more of those games anyways. So here I am spawning as the yellow Protoss player. You can see my actions per minute. I'm a little bit behind, and actions per minute currently around 48. Nothing too impressive. And I'm going to be going for a 4-gate push. Now, one of the reasons why I really like the 4-gate push in the in the Protoss mirror match is because a lot of players really believe that the game is or the early Protoss game really relies on a lot of Stalker play. And that's actually one of those things that I don't quite agree with. I know Stalkers are a very, very fast unit that move out very quickly, but just because they move out very quickly, it doesn't mean that their movement speed is going to be really that useful early on. Stalkers are the most expensive unit coming out from the gateway at tier 1 or tier 1.5. So you have your choices between zealots, stalkers, and sentries. And what you're going to see is I am not going to produce a single stalker until very, very late in this game. You can already see gateway already down, getting that assimilator. My opponent, Wrocek, now getting double gas. So with the double gas build, I know that he's going to be teching. So I know that this 4-gate push that I'm going to be trying to pull off will work. So I have this gateway now out, going to drop in a cybernetics core. You can tell that my building placement isn't quite right. This pylon's supposed to be a little bit more north, so I can put in a cybernetics core there. Not enough room, so I'm going to have to be forced to put it here and then put another gateway here. So a little bit of a front door seal fail for me. Back over here, I am now moving around with this probe, and now I move around with this probe, and I'm going to double back, and I'm going to set up a proxy pylon right here. Now, what really this allows me to do is it allows me to warp in units along this low ledge. Now, with these destructible rocks in play now, a lot of Protoss players do not realize, and they do not check this high platform. So this should be able to work in a lot of gold and platinum games, maybe even a low diamond game or two. And back over here, you're going to quickly see me start researching the warp gate ability, and I'm going to be producing sentries. Now, looking at the numbers and looking at the math, a zealot costs 100 minerals. A sentry costs 50 gas, or 50 minerals and 100 gas. A stalker costs 125 minerals and 50 gas. So if you think about it another way, the cost of 2 stalkers is the same cost as 2 zealots and 1 sentry. Now, if you think about that, 2 zealots and 1 sentry, that's a 6-food army compared to a 4-food army. And the DPS on the zealot with that sentry is going to be much faster than that stalker will be able to deal. So that's one of the reasons why I like this build so much. On a 4-gate push, you can see Wrocek's current army size is sitting at 1 stalker, and he's just going to use that to hold that position there. Meanwhile, I have 2 zealots, and I'm currently producing 2 sentries. My opponent also now getting that Twilight Council, and with that Twilight Council that early, before even getting really any stalkers or any real zealots, you know that he's going to be going for some Dark Templar rush. Now the 4-gate push against a Dark Templar rush, I'm obviously not going to have observers, so you'll see how I handle that in just a little bit as well. So continuing the chrono boost, making sure I have a very, very strong economy running off of 4 gateways, researching that warp gate ability, and training more sentries. So army wise, you can see that I have a 300-200 army, right? And that 300-200 army is actually very, very, very strong against stalkers and against other zealots. You have force fields to push away zealots and try to minimize the amount of damage that way. And on top of that, you also have sentries with their guardian shield. If your opponent really did go heavy stalker, you can throw up that guardian shield, and instead of that stalker dealing 10 damage, which already is very low, it now does 8 damage and then only 7 damage versus the armor. So now I move out with this army. You see 4 sentries, 3 zealots, and I'm now upgrading to this warp gate here. So So I'm upgrading to the warp gate. As soon as that warp gate is done, I'm going to start warping in units over here. So you see 4 quick zealots already now being warped in. So this army of 8 units, as this army of 8 food now, as this army of 14 food now joins in that fight as well. On top of that, I am now nearing completion, so I'm going to be able to warp in an additional 4 units after this. So this is why this is so strong. This build, all of a sudden I have a very, very large army, almost 15 units now moving in, and you can see an 1100 mineral army versus a 425, and he just doesn't stand a chance here. Zealot's now going to move up that ramp. He tries to drop 1 force field, but it's not going to really work as these sentries and zealots are going to be pushing in. He is now warping in more and more units, and I see this dark shrine here, so I know that I'm going to be seeing some dark templars in just a bit. So 1 dark templar now moving in, trying to slice at my units. I move in, and because I can see exactly where it is in my mind, I can see that shimmer. I purposely stick his dark templar in that location so he cannot fight me. Even though I don't have observers, I've countered the Dark Templar with sentries. Now in comes some more, so I'm trying to push it again, and I get another Dark Templar right there, and then trying to lock this one outside the rest of this main army once again. So these zealots and sentries simply destroying this whole entire fight here, and I'm able to just really take down all of the production buildings. And tech-wise, you see that Wrocek is really too far behind to really do anything. I am also getting a robotics facility just in case, and now I warp in more units over here. I can continue to produce more stalkers, more zealots, more sentries, and just try to win this out on a war of attrition. Now take down his nexus. Those 2 Dark Templars will be able to finish off the rest of this army, but there's not much that Wrocek can really do. He only has 1 pylon left, and even if he was able to get down another nexus, start mining, it's going to take him quite some time, and that was GG. So I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 tutorial here on Scrap Station. I really like this 4-gate push. I was also trying to establish a nexus over here, and that really strong early army, even though it looked relatively small, I think it was an 1100 mineral army. I'm gonna move this over here. I think it was an 1100 mineral army, but that 1100 mineral army just had such potency in dealing so much damage. So I believe it's right around here at the 6-minute mark. No, maybe at the 7.5 minute mark. Yeah, so see, if I go ahead and I pause it right here, my army size is 1100 and 800. Normally 1100, you're thinking, okay, maybe 11 marauders, 11 zealots, but no, this army consists of 7 zealots and 8 sentries, and really that's why that army is that powerful. Strong range damage. The DPS on sentries is 6 damage per second, slightly less than a marine. I believe a marine's around 8. But that disruption field and those force fields, you saw how useful those force fields were at sticking those Dark Templars and really neutralizing their effectiveness. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 tutorial shoutcast here on Scrap Station. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe. YouTube.com/BlizzShouter if you guys are watching this through some sort of linked site. Also, remember to thumbs up the video as well. Once again, thanks for watching.